Welcome to Dirshu Daf HaYomi Bahalacha. Today we are going to be learning the beginning of Siman Gimel, which is entitled Hanhagas Beis HaKisei, the proper way one conducts themselves in a bathroom. And there are 17 sifim. Today we're going to begin with Sif Aleph, and we're going to see up until and including Sif Vav. We're going to be addressing three primary questions that Dirshu poses. First of all, the discussion of the importance of sneas in general. Second of all, is speaking in a bathroom permitted? And the third question, under what circumstances would davening be considered a toeva, an abomination? So let's begin. Sif Beis. Kishi chanes lebeis hakisei. When a person enters into a bathroom, Yomar, a person says, Hiskabdu mechubadin v'chulu. V'achshav lo nahagu amro. So this is something that used to be said, and we're not noig to do this anymore. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Ke'en anu muchzakim l'yirei shemayim shemalachim alaven oisanu. We're not as concerned of the possibility that angels are accompanying us. That we ask to wait until they come. We don't have this interaction of angels. In the Bi'urim Umusafim, in fact, it discusses, quoting the Chassam Sofer, who's not noig at night to say Shalom Aleichem Malchei Shares for the same reason, because maybe nowadays we don't have these angels that are escorting us like it used to be. However, it's brought down by others that the Chassam Sofer actually would say it, but he would say it quietly. Beinu levein atzmo. Rak machmas hanavel lo amru b'koil. He wouldn't say it out loud because it was a lack of maybe it's showing humility by saying, "Look, I have these angels, these malchei shares." Maybe nowadays we say it. People don't necessarily say it because it's gaiva, like they think, "Oh, look, I have these angels." Ayin Sham. Okay, let's continue with Sif Beis. Yehei sanua bebeis hakisei. Person needs to be modest in the bathroom. V'yigal atzmo ad sheyeshev. Don't reveal yourself until you sit down, says the Ramah. V'lo yelchu shnei anoshim beyachad. Two people should not go together. Gam, also, lo yadaber sham. Interesting, you're not supposed to speak in the bathroom. V'yiskor hadelas ba'do mishum sneas. You should close the door because of modesty as well. Okay, so let's see the Mishnah Berurah. You should not reveal yourself until you sit. V'huadin shel yakum kishu magula. Also, when you finish, you shouldn't stand up while you're unclothed. Lo yelchu v'imafached. Let's say you're afraid. There used to be mazikin, demons there, as Morning Brachos discusses. Yochel echad lahaniach yado al rosho derech hachalon. So you can put your hand on someone's head, which is a way of protecting them. Lovan shel yira peruai. They shouldn't basically see you open, exposed. Okay. And it says, l'chanish sham behedya asar afil im ishto. Ach im katan shein lo das mutal chanes. A kid could enter, and on this the Biurim Umusafim says a katan is shini yachol adaber. He's so young, he doesn't speak yet. And again, he quotes possibly by quoting the Chesed Ephraim that we should still educate children in dinim of sneas not to enter together with an adult into a Beis HaKisei. Obviously, we're talking about not for safety matters, like you're in a public place, so you can't leave your child by himself, but this is talking about if it's an issue of sneas. Now, he says not to speak. Now, before we get to that, let's talk more about the importance of sneas. So, Dirshu says as follows. Some Rishonim write that there's a positive commandment to conduct oneself with sneas. The Gemara stresses the importance of sneas in the bathroom. The Bir Halacha exonerates shoals and other public places that refuse to build a public bathroom. One of the reasons is that the people should be able to take care of their needs in a modest fashion. For reasons of sneas, two people may not enter a bathroom together, which we just saw in the Mishnah Berurah. Children must be educated in this matter as well. Entering together with a child who is too young to speak is permissible, as we saw in the Bi'ur Musafim. Since a child that age would not understand what is happening, there is no lack of sneas. So now again we're going to address the question, is speaking in a bathroom permitted? So it says as follows. So Beferish, the Ramah says you can't speak. So on this, the Biurim Musafim asks, is it really, what is the reason? So according to the Sefer Charadim, it said Charedim is because Mishum Sakana. There's an issue of danger. Shel Shadim Hamutsoyim Shom. Again, there used to be demons there. It's possible the Shulchan Aruch Rav says it's because of sneas. Now the question is, the basic kisei are bathrooms nowadays. So according to the Chazon Ish, is also brought down by the Igros Moshe, he wonders if the bathrooms that we have now are really the same din, that you can't speak in them, because after all, they're not exactly the same. She'en lo din basic kisei mishum shasoa enu misakeves bo ela nofelos murachoik. Because we flush the toilet, the waste matter is not really in the bathroom. You can actually look into a bathroom, it can be clean for the most part. Or do we say that really it's still an issue because again there's dirt, not everything is cleaned. Therefore it's considered like a basic kisei gomer. It's not spotless. So he says that the Chazon Ish says sheish l'hachmer. The person should still be strict not to speak in the bathroom. Also, the Minchas Yitzchak says he should be strict. Rabbi Yashov says as well, that this is the din. You should be strict about speaking in a bathroom. Okay, let's see the Mishnah Berurah. The Mishnah Berurah says on Daled, U'yedaber v'imhu l'tzarech gadol. If it's a tremendous need, efshir demutu l'daber. Maybe you could speak. Kozman she'in nifna dayin, as long as you're not actually using the bathroom at that moment. Although be'esh nifna, when you're relieving yourself, af l'tzarech gadol aser. Even then, you should not do so. Fine. V'im efshir liskor hadeles. If it's impossible to close the door, v'ish achar rotz lichnos, and wants to enter. Yenachru zelazeb yadaberu. You should like make some type of noise and not to speak. Rak hanoshim kishaholchos basic kisei kavul rabim kamo basic kisei shabasad b'mehem hiskinu chachamishim misapra zuim zu. We do allow women to speak. Kaneshi yishama koilim and b'chutz, that their voices should be heard. V'yichnos ish l'sham v'yisyachad imahen. This is obviously in a situation where it's not a separate men's and women's bathroom. So we allow women to speak a little bit because this way men will know that there's a woman in there and they're not going to enter. The Biur Musafim further says, "L'adaber sham b'lashon hakodesh b'shem sefer chasidim shemidas chasidisi l'hachmer b'kach." There are some people that are particular not to speak in Hebrew. So again, even maybe tzarech gadol, when a person is not relieving themselves, one is able to speak, but maybe not even in Lashon Kodesh. So 7 years ago, this is one of the questions. May one speak in a basic kisei? And the answer is B. Perhaps in case of great need, so long as he is not evacuating at that moment. And if he's not using the bathroom at that moment, then it's okay. Okay. Let's see how he writes it over here. So, question, is speaking in a bathroom permitted? So for the sake of sneas, a person should not speak in a bathroom. In addition, speaking could arouse demons who frequent the bathroom, which we saw one shot. One should adhere to this stringency, even in the modern-day bathroom. Speaking is permitted to address an important need. Under all circumstances, one should not speak when he is actually relieving himself. If another person mistakenly enters, he should let him know to leave without speaking. If a person is in a bathroom for reasons other than relieving himself, like to fix something, he may speak, but it's proper to keep his words to a minimum. Which is interesting. So let's say, for example, you're giving your kids a bath, for example. Does that mean now to talk to your kids because there's a toilet in the same room? No. According to this, is you're allowed. Perhaps you should minimize your conversation in basic kisei, but to say that you can't speak at all, that's considered like l'tzarech gadol, and therefore a person is allowed to speak to their child during that time. It's in order to make sure that they're clean and the like. But again, it's certainly at the time when a person is actually relieving themselves, that's certainly a time that one should be exceedingly careful. Let's continue with Sif Gimel. We're going to see the Gimel through Vav now. Tabas, Bitsror, or Bekesam, Liftoech the Kavav. When a person wipes themselves, Yimashmish Kaidem, you should check yourself, Shiyeshev, Yimashmish Achar Shiyeshev, before you sit down, and not to examine yourself afterwards. In those days, wiping oneself before would actually cause an issue of kshafim, of witchcraft. Again, so he says, Im eno yochel panais yelch arba amos v'yeshav v'yam v'yeshav ad shifna. You can like move around, stand up, walk a few steps, or you should divert your attention. Yasich daitim advar macherim v'yifna ba'amida. And the person is not allowed to relieve himself standing. Dalid lo yigal atzmo ki'im l'charav tefach. From back only one hand's breadth. Mulfandav tefachayim. 2. The Isha, this is Gemara in Brachos, the Isha ma'acharea tefach mulfanav lo klum. In the back of tefach, and in the front, nothing. So for a man and a woman, a tefach for the back, for the front, a woman, nothing, and for a man, 2. And on this, he says, tefach lo yois mishum snias. Again, there's an issue of snias, and therefore we have to be cautious. However, when it comes to the front, 2 tfachim, to mitoshu doichek es atzmo l'gedolim hubo l'idei ketanim. Typically speaking, when a person is relieving themselves with gedolim, you may end up also urinating at the same time. Okay, let's continue with the next sif. Im nifne b'makam magula shin bo machitzos. If let's say you're relieving yourself and there's no walls, you should face south, and your backside should be to the east. Person should not face east or west. Now, if there's walls, let's say it's a toilet which has walls, so you really don't have a choice but to sit the way that you sit. Even if, let's say, you're facing east-west, it's not really within your control. But if you have the ability to sit north-south as opposed to east-west, that's better. Fine. So it says Mishnah, even if there's only a wall on the west side, then you sit by the wall next to it. Fine. Again, the Shekhinah is in the west, so if you could somehow be strict, you can be strict. Fine. Okay. Weiter. So again, the person has to be careful in which direction. And Vav, v'chein asel lishain bein mizrach amarav. Also, when it comes to sleeping east-west, im ishto imo, if he's with his wife. V'nachin lihizar hafil kashin ishto imo. So it's interesting, even the way your bed is situated. Obviously, if your house is in a range that you have no choice, it's one thing. But your bed really should not be east-west. It should be north-south as well. Okay. And he quotes the Bir Musafim. He says, Amnam im margish shesar ksas lekevav. So it says, let's see, 1 second. Let's see. All right. Gula shem b'chitzos. Okay. So it says, quoting the Bir Halacha, he says, Al kol panim yesh al yidei zeh bittul tefillah b'tzibur. There could be an issue of bittul tefillah b'tzibur. You feel like you're constantly checking yourself, and you may end up missing davening. So he says, Amdam im margish she'atzma ksas l'keva. If you feel that you have to use the bathroom, shaval pishyachol atzras atzma, even if you hold yourself back more than the shear of a parsa, mikol makmi nachas atzmo, you should relieve yourself. Av she'alidei zeh yafsid tefil b'tzibor. Even if, let's say, you can't daven b'tzibor, better you should go to the bathroom. Aval im alidei she'nakas atzmo yavar zman hatfila. Not that you're going to miss tefillah b'tzibor, but let's say you're going to end up davening beyond the zman tefillah, then linakas atzma, then you should not. Kivan sheyodeh shechol atzos atzma b'shir shel shah b'chaimish, an hour and a fifth, which is 12 minutes, 72 minutes, which is the amount of going a parsa, then that's what you should do. So if a person needs to use the bathroom, you're not supposed to daven. But if you're able to hold yourself back, so you don't have to use the bathroom so much. So in that case, don't miss tefillah b'zmana. You could miss tefillah b'tzibor. Maybe you should daven even b'yechidus, but use the bathroom. Okay, let's see this last question. Under what circumstances would davening be considered an abomination? Okay, so this is again based on the Biur Halacha. One who needs to relieve himself may not learn Torah or daven. He must be careful with this halacha, even if it causes him to miss tefillah b'tzibor. As we said in the Biurim Halacha, you have to in the Biurim Umusafim, that even if you miss tefillah b'tzibor, it's okay. You have to use the bathroom. If he's comfortable enough to wait 72 minutes before relieving himself, he may daven if he would otherwise miss zman tefillah. If he is not, he is forbidden to daven, even if he will miss the entire window of davening. If one did daven under such circumstances, his tefillah is considered a toev, an abomination, and he must daven again. So if a person needs to use the bathroom, within, let's say, they know that they cannot hold back for 72 minutes, tefillah is a toeva. So therefore, a person should go to the bathroom, and even if he misses tefillah b'tzibor, even if you're going to miss tefillah b'chlal, you're not supposed to daven that way. Therefore, if you are not able to withhold yourself, then you should just use the bathroom. If you could control yourself, but may have a little bit of a hargasha, again, if you can wait 72 minutes, then you don't want to miss zman tefillah, but you could miss tefillah b'tzibor in order to be able to use the bathroom. Ad kan.